Welcome. Let's talk about some stretching basics. The first thing to understand is that when we stretch, we're practicing and training our bodies to not only move at a farther range of motion, but especially one of the most important things is that we're practicing on relaxing. If we are incredibly tense, incredibly tight the entire time we're doing everything, we're always going to have a large amount of resistance on any time we push or pull because we're always going to have that counter motion. So we are going to practice not only a few very basic and fundamental things to allow us to be more stretchy and more flexible as time goes on, but we're going to talk about a few crucial safety tips and details while we're doing so. But most importantly, also importantly, we're going to practice relaxing. So first of all, we always like to practice and start with a single leg stretch, bringing one foot all the way in. Most common mistake is that people try to put their leg underneath. Try to bring it as flat as you can, toes up as far as you can, and then relax forward. But notice I'm not just leaning forward here. I'm straightening and squaring my shoulders and my chest straight to my leg. A lot of people take the stretch and cup and pull. If you can't reach your toes, that's okay, because I can get just the same stretch along the lower part right here as I can here versus here. This does allow a little bit more stretch to be much more kind of behind the calf, but as we're practicing and relaxing, if I can't quite grab my toes and pull, I can use my uniform or sleeve to give a very gentle pull. I have to be very cautious as I go for, let's say, about 15 to 25 seconds. And I can even have a little bit of a gentle lean and back, lean and back, lean and back. Other side. The more gentle but moving you can be almost into any stretch that you can do, especially if you're not very warm, if you're very cold and you haven't done a whole lot of exercising, the more you can move into a motion, the better you'll be able to kind of more massage everything in a place to get it a little bit warmer. But you can absolutely have a static beginning of a stretch if you're not quite warm. Just do so with the utmost caution, and even having caution with the movement. We don't really want to have momentum in the stretch. We just really have motion. That's all we want, just a little bit of motion and a lot of relaxing. Once again, about 15 to 25 seconds, single leg both sides, double leg closed. As we breathe, relax, we do the same, about 15 to 25 seconds, breathing and relaxing. Just like any exercise, it can be very important for the long run to stretch in not just one setting, but maybe multiple sets. Straight leg, wide variation. Now, especially if I'm not incredibly warmed up, I like to count to 3. Squaring, 1, and just slow, 2, and 3. You can even reach your hands on all 3. 1, 2, and 3. So we're not going to have a static hold on this one. We're just going to be moving, moving, moving. Notice that I'm trying to keep my legs as still as I possibly can, but also just relaxing. There's a lot of people that grunt, groan, and just every time that they're stretching into place. Unnecessary. Breathe and relax. We should always feel a little bit of pressure, but the more you stretch, not only at first, but especially over time, the more you should feel more comfortable, but never incredibly sharp pains. If you're feeling any incredible sharp pain, you should always try to back off. Probably a good idea to talk to your doctor, do what you need to responsibly to help recover. If you ever have an injury, injuries are much different than soreness. You can stretch out soreness. Stretching out injuries don't do anything but break things down more than what is necessary. So we have these, but we also have a couple of lower back that we can talk about. One leg straight, other leg over. I'm going to take the same side as the straight leg, this elbow, reach across, plant. Once again, take a deep breath. And stretch. About 15 to 25 seconds. I'm just going to hold it for a few and then come back. Just for time's sake on the video, this is already going to be a little bit longer. 15 to 25 seconds. Breathing, relaxing, thinking, wondering. Come on back. To loosen up a little bit more of the top, what I'm going to do is just start with a gentle shrug. but it's very circular. You might not be able to tell from the camera. It's not just up and down, it's forward, up, back, down. Forward, up, back, down. We're doing kind of a rotational stretch, so we want to go both ways after doing so for a few seconds. These are also great drills if you ever come in, you have a available spot on the mat or just an available spot at home. These are always good to do as many, as often as you possibly can responsibly, 2 to 3 times of every set, hopefully once a day. We do the same thing with the rotation of our arms. We can even count to 25 here. This might be a little much for some beginners that have the shoulders that are still being worked out through their progress. Other way, just back and forth, getting both directions on any kind of rotation. We're gonna have back and forth. Notice where my arms are. I don't want to swing too far up and down or high and low. I'm gonna try to stay it's parallel, as flat as I possibly can, keeping my hands about shoulder height to really try to stretch shoulder and pectoral muscle a little bit both together. I'm relaxing forward, coming back, relaxing forward, coming back, coming over, cupping behind. Check out where I'm cupping on my elbow specifically. I don't want to just go directly on the elbow, maybe just a hair behind if I can reach. This allows me to not really kind of pull against the joint of the elbow itself. A little bit safer to go a little bit more towards the shoulder here, but once again, just very flat. 15 to 25, same thing on the other side, behind the elbow. Breathe, relax, other side. We can also do a similar idea of cupping behind the elbow as we crawl down our back. Giving it not only a good stretch on the shoulder, but you can kind of lean into it just slightly to do much more of the side and shoulder together rather than just the side. 15 to 20 seconds. Once again, this is a kind of a sped up version of it, just for time's sake of the video. You can pause the video at any time, do what you need to give yourself time. So this is, for the most part, our sitting stretches to work down all the way up. You can also add a bit of a lean back and forth with your head if you desire to, especially if you do a lot of shoulder and chest and arms. This tends to get tighter and tighter the more you use a lot of these muscles. So try to breathe, relax, stretch often, responsibly, and if your body tells you, ow, something hurts, something's wrong, listen to it. Talk to somebody and see what you need to do. We'll see you in the next video.